Okay, so now that we have a working program, we want to be able to go from this to this by skinning. Now, if you notice, there's a few things that I've added on here for as far as extras are concerned, and we're not going to worry about that one too much, but we want to go from our rectangles moving around the screen to having some more real looking things. Now, I chose to continue to have a white background and have some characters. You get to choose how you want to skin your game. But let's go ahead and take a look at how we would do that part. Let's remind ourselves how we do that skinning. So what I did is I went to the internet, I found an image of what I wanted my baddie to look like, my gem to look like, and my player to look like. I downloaded or screenshot those images however you see fit, and then I copy and pasted them into a folder that I called Photos. Now, I would recommend that you just go ahead and take your 3 pictures and drag them directly or copy and paste them directly into your project up at the very top level to avoid any kind of weirdness as far as the path is concerned. Now my baddie PNG, my gem 2 PNG, and my player PNG all exist right up here. And from here there are 2 ways that we can go about setting and creating these images. Before, we said fill with g.color, so the gem kept track of the color that it might have been. So it's possible that we do it in that way, where the gem keeps track of what image it might be. However, it's also possible that we go through and we just set the gems to be the image that we use when we're looping through our gem list, and then we set the image to be the baddie when we're looping through our baddie list. Either way is fine. In a later video, you will see that if I want to have different types of baddies or different types of gems, we need the gem object itself, excuse me, to keep track of that, so that way I know which baddie image to use. Otherwise, which gem image to use in this example. Otherwise, when I'm looping through, all of my gems are going to be using whatever this gem 2 image is. And if I wanted some of them to be a different color, be a different size, be something else, I wouldn't know that. So the thing that we are going to do is we're going to go over to our objects. We're going to no longer have this variable called color. We're going to change it to a variable called image. Now you do it like that and it's an integer. So we then need to backtrack ourselves a little bit and say, wait, hang on a second. Our image isn't an integer. Our image is a p image variable. So image p image. So rather than passing in a color, we no longer expect to see a color passed in. We expect to see a p image variable, I, to be image. So then image will be set to I. So I changed my gem object a little bit, got rid of the color variable, made it an image variable, changed my constructor so that it's passing in that image variable so that I can set it right there. Now, Run Graphics is going to be mad at me at this point because right now I'm passing in a color and it's expecting a p image variable type, which is not an integer. So this part of my code is going to be mad at me for a moment. For a moment, it's going to be mad at me, and that's okay. We will fix it in a second. What that also means is I no longer need to fill with g.color. So I'm just going to go ahead and comment that out so that you can still see that code. And I also no longer need to draw a rectangle at all. Now what I need to do is I actually need to draw an image. The image that I should be drawing, well, it's the one that's saved inside of that gem. Where should I put it? I should put it at g.x, g.y. Now, if I've done everything correctly, this image will already be sized to match g.size. I still want to keep track of that variable g.size, but the image will match. If it doesn't, something that we will need to do is do that resizing. So I can show you how to do that part in just a second. But now, when I loop over my gem list, it's going to go get the gem image that I've input. So let's say I create a bunch of gems in this way, and then later on I want to make some special gems. Well, I will pass in a different image for those special gems. All right, so let's actually make those image variables on this side where we know what those images are going to be. So let's go ahead and say p image, and we're going to call this one gem. I can spell. And inside of setup, we're going to go ahead and set gem is the image. Sorry, hang on. What do I say here? Load image. There we go. Gem is the load image, and it's called gem2.png. And we have to put this whole thing, inside of quotes to be the file name. So then your computer's going to go look for the file name gem2.png, which exists right here, and that's the image that's going to get loaded. So then instead of passing in that color, I'm just going to pass in, I should really call this gem image so that I keep track of what the heck it is. All right, so now when I run my program, this time I should still see a black background, I should still see rectangles for my baddies and for my player, but hopefully we now see images for our gems. And I see nothing. I wonder if they're maybe a little bit too tiny or far too large. So let's go check. So if that happens and we see nothing, we need to make sure that we've resized that image in the way that we want. So immediately we're going to go down and we're going to say, gem image dot resize, and then we're going to give it a size. So our gems have the size 10, 10. So I'm going to go ahead and give that gem image that size, and now when I run it again, now that it's been resized, we should hope to see those gems on the screen, and we do. So they were just too tiny before, but we now see those gems are showing up. Maybe we no longer want it to be that those gems are 10 by 10, in which case you might have some more work to do as far as the aesthetics are concerned. You want them to be wider than they are tall. They are no longer square type things, and that would be your choice to make. So let me just show you how we could possibly add a second gem. Do I still have that image or did I delete it? I think I deleted it. So I'm going to pause really quickly. To get that image, or let's just get it from here. Can I copy this? And then paste it in here. Beautiful. Okay, so gem 3 is now these purple gems that look a little bit different. So for example, after I've made all of my gems that I put into gem list, let's go and add just one single special gem to my gem list. So we're gonna add a new, not gem image, we wanna say gem list dot add. We're gonna add a new gem. It's going to be, I don't know, let's put it right in the middle of my screen. Let's put it at 300, 300. It's gonna have a size of 20. And this one we're gonna use the image that doesn't exist yet, but I will eventually call this one special gem for its image. And its value, it's gonna be worth 3 to me. All right, so let's go make that special gem image. So now we have another p-image variable that is called special gem. And we're going to create special gem is the load image that's called gem3.png. And special gem dot resize, and we're going to resize it. What did I say its size was going to be? 20 by 20. All right, so now we've added one extra special gem that should be right in the middle. It should be slightly bigger and it should have that other image. So now when we run it, we should see those blue gems everywhere, and we should see that special gem, that purple gem, right in the middle of the screen. So now you can see that you have multiple types. So you would repeat that process of creating your image variables and setting them. Instead of doing the fill and the rectangle for the baddie, you would probably want to go change some stuff in here. Instead of a color, use an image. And you could do the same for the player. For your player, you could also just go ahead and change it right here because you only have one player. So the image that you would be using there is just whatever the player is. And there you go. Now your game is skinned. Remember, if you want to have a background, you can go ahead and make your background be an image as well. So rather than using a background command, use an image to have whatever it is that you want to be the background of your game. Happy skinning!